ABC 10 News at 7 starts now.
San Diego's healthcare system on the brink. Hospital ICUs in Southern California are projected to be over capacity in the next few weeks. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Our ABC 10 News reporter Melissa Messiha spoke to a local healthcare worker about staffing concerns here in San Diego.
As we wait for a vaccine, coronavirus numbers are not getting any better. Not only are hospitals dealing with patients they would typically see during this time of year, COVID-19 patients are adding stress to thinning resources.
If these trends continue, we're going to have to take much more dramatic, arguably drastic action.
The governor said nearly 75% of ICU beds in Southern California are occupied. It's projected to be at 107% by Christmas Eve.
I have a guarded concern about the direction that we're moving in.
Samantha Gambles-Farr is a nurse practitioner and president of the San Diego Black Nurses Association. While she's worried about staffing, she's also worried about the mental and physical health of her colleagues.
The staffing issues have always been something that we've dealt with in the ICU because of the critical acuteness of our patients and the burnout of staff. Nurses are picking up a lot more overtime, and shifts are being asked to work a lot more than they have in the past.
Early in the pandemic, the state created the California Health Corps. It asked for those with healthcare experience to help with the COVID-19 outbreak. Thousands, including retired workers and nursing students, volunteered. But according to the Sacramento Bee, only around 900 people are ready to be deployed. In New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has already called for extra help.
Every hospital has to identify retired nurses and doctors now. We're already experiencing staff shortages.
It's not like we can then call on our colleagues, from another state to help us because they're dealing with the exact same issue.
Melissa Messiha, ABC 10 News.
And we have now hit a grim milestone. San Diego County reported 22 new deaths today. That brings our total above 1,000. There were also more than 1,300 new cases. That brings that total to 83,000. And this just in, the San Diego State University Senate voted late today to cancel spring break. Now, in its place, students will get 4 rest and recovery days in February, March, and April. The goal is to prevent a surge in cases from students who travel and party during spring break. An infectious disease doctor says breaking up spring break could reduce student infections by up to 30%.
Some of the COVID-19 vaccine will be stored at Rady Children's Hospital until the FDA approves it for emergency use. The hospital has the necessary ultra-low temperature freezers needed for storage. Earlier today, a CDC advisory board recommended healthcare workers and people in nursing homes get the first batch of doses. Governor Newsom says roughly 327,000 vaccines could arrive in California from Pfizer by mid-month. And a Los Angeles County supervisor is getting flack for going out to dinner on the very same night that she voted to shut down in-person dining. Sheila Kuehl went out to eat at a Santa Monica restaurant the same day she voted to shut down outdoor dining in LA. A spokesperson for the supervisor says dining was still allowed at the time, and she was trying to support her favorite restaurant before it had to close. LA reported a record 7,500 COVID cases today.
San Diego County is now accepting applications for its emergency rental assistance program. Applicants can receive grants of up to $3,000 to cover a maximum 2 months' rent. The applications will be reviewed on a first-come, first-served basis. You can go to 10news.com to check on your eligibility for that program. The Convention Center homeless shelter that opened when the pandemic started is now closing. City leaders say those people will be moved to local hotels, more permanent housing as well. But as our Lindsay Pena reports, one group is worried not everyone will be included.
For months now, the San Diego Convention Center has been transformed into a massive homeless shelter, housing more than 1,000 people at a time. But come the end of December, things will be changing.
We provided them with wraparound services on site. We protected them from COVID-19, and now we are successfully transitioning them into permanent supportive housing.
The city has purchased 2 area hotels that will provide 332 units for long-term housing. Bob McElroy with the Alpha Project says it's a good solution to a complicated and ongoing problem.
I think the idea of taking these motels and turning them into facilities for our folks. That's a tremendous idea and a tremendous resource.
But others have concerns about the plan.
We don't think that it's right for the city to be closing down such a vital resource.
Cecily Ma is the director of the Mustard Seed Project, a local homeless advocacy group. They worry the hotels and other shelters won't be enough and started a petition on change.org to keep it open.
We just don't really see the numbers adding up that everyone's going to have a place to stay.
A spokesperson for the mayor's office issued a statement that reads in part, quote, "The city would never return individuals who are already in shelter back to the streets. We will ensure that everyone has a safe place to go, whether that be permanent housing or another shelter option." Lindsay Pena, ABC 10 News.
The Convention Center homeless shelter will officially close December 31st. You can stay on top of any new developments with coronavirus by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
A 3-day red flag warning goes into effect in less than 24 hours, and nearly 90,000 power customers in fire-prone areas have been notified their electricity could be shut off because of the high winds. Meteorologist Angelica Campos is joining us now with a look at the dangerous fire conditions on the way. Angelica?
Hi, Kim, that's right. Dangerous fire conditions already were near critical as we speak. Let me show you the relative humidity is so low because we're barely recovering from the previous red flag warning. The number's down to 17% in Julian, 20% in Alpine. So as we go into another round of Santa Ana winds, it's only going to get drier. Relative humidity could be down into the single digits. A red flag warning will begin at 6 p.m. Wednesday through 10 p.m. on Saturday. But the strongest winds will be overnight Thursday into Friday. That is when a high wind watch will go into effect starting at 1 a.m. Thursday morning. Coming up, I'll show you what kind of winds we're expecting around the county and how widespread this event is going to be.
All right, we'll check back in. Thank you, Angelica. It was nearly 3 years ago to the day that the Lilac Fire broke out in the North County. It started as a small fire just off the 15 in Bonsall, but the strong winds caused it to quickly grow. It ended up burning more than 4,000 acres and destroying 157 structures.
The captain of that boat that caught fire and killed 34 people off California has now been charged with manslaughter. The Conception went up in flames in September of last year off Santa Cruz Island. San Diego Nicole Quitasol and 4 of her family members were among those killed. Today, Captain Jerry Bolin was indicted for failing to train his crew, conduct fire drills, and have a roving night watchman.
Well, food insecurity can impact anyone, and this month we want to shed light on the importance of keeping our community fed. As ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti shows us, the pandemic is creating an added layer of difficulty for rural areas trying to avoid hunger.
It's a quiet community.
Out here, we're in a rural area.
In Campo, this distance, while serene, is a lower cost of living. It's good for people who can't afford more, but bad for adding distance between home and major stores.
We're really below the poverty level out here. We're lower in income out here, and so grocery stores aren't readily available right around the corner.
So Julie Atherton coordinates 2 meal distributions every month.
We serve a lot of seniors, a lot of families that have been affected by the COVID.
The free food is supplied by Feeding San Diego. Volunteers pack up meals and distribute to those who need it.
2!
It's become a drive-up format,
Go ahead.
Adjusting to COVID times.
Alrighty.
Many of the same people returning each time.
Jerry, am I 28? Because you're older than I am.
I'm 28 from 100.
Oh.
People like Jerry.
I'll be 27 next
You
year.
would.
Who cracks a joke.
I count backwards. No luck.
Thankful for the help.
This is true.
He says it's always been hard for him to consistently get to a grocery store, but the pandemic has been an added layer of stress because of his age.
Because of this 19, we don't go anywhere. We don't even go to town as much as we used to, you know.
Jerry says the help of a couple meals means putting money toward important things.
When you're on fixed income and you have problems, your money only goes so far. And when you get to be my age, you know, I'm 28, you have a lot of doctor's visits, and it takes your funds.
So he's thankful for the ongoing support. A few meals going a long way in this small town. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
The number of people facing hunger has skyrocketed during the pandemic. You can help Feeding San Diego continue their essential services with our month of 1 million meals. So donate by calling into our food bank until 8 o'clock tonight. That number is 858-500-7805. It's also scrolling at the bottom of your screen.